series. They'll play 3 more day games after this night game, and the Tigers are in the midst of a 9-game losing streak. Nicholas Castellanos, one of the best hitters in the American League, is hitting .310 for the season, and he's killed the Blue Jays. He's hit a double and a home run and driven in 3 in his 12 at-bats. And John Hicks, he had a good series against the Blue Jays over in Detroit. He has a mini 4-game hit streak. He's 7 for his last 15 with a pair of doubles and 2 RBIs. They're set to take on Marcus Stroman tonight.
Marcus pitched really well in that last start, his first start since being reinstated from the disabled list. That was on June the 23rd. He threw his first scoreless start of the season, allowing 6 hits through 5 innings. He also struck out 5 Angels. 9th start of the season for Stroman in his career versus the Tigers. Hasn't faced them that much. He's had 2 starts here at Rogers Center. The last time he faced them last year in his only start, he lost to them. Through 6 innings, he had 6 strikeouts.
For his career, he had one of his best starts ever on August 9th, 2014, right here at Rogers Center. He pitched 9 innings, allowed 2 runs on 4 hits. But the Blue Jays would go on to win it 3-2 in extra innings as they scored a single run. In the 10th inning, he was matched up against Max Scherzer in that game back in 2014. So we are set for action. Blue Jays have won 8 of their last 9 home games, looking to continue that streak here tonight. Stroman is set. Leonis Martin, the leadoff man, in the box. Here we go. Pitch is in there for a strike, and we are underway. As we mentioned, it's 33 degrees. The roof was closed all throughout batting practice just to keep this place a little bit cooler.
And all the players on the Tigers, all they wanted to know, are they going to open it up? Are we going to play underneath the stars?
Ground ball to Smoke. He'll go to the bag, and 1 ground ball out for Marcus Stroman. That should be a theme tonight if he's on his game. Let's take a look at the defense. Hernandez, Pilar, and Grichuk in the outfield. Then Diaz making his 54th start at short.
Yeah, he's made 24 straight starts at shortstop since coming off the disabled list in Detroit when the Blue Jays were there at the beginning of this month. He could be busy tonight when Marcus Stroman's got that good sinker-slider combination working. The infielders are going to stay busy.
There's another strike delivered to Jeimer Candelario, the 3rd baseman. 2.37 on the season for Candelario. He's going through a real rough stretch like the rest of his teammates. He's 2 for his last 23 with just 1 extra base hit and no RBIs over his last 7 games.
You know, when you showed the lineup of the Tigers, the one name that was missing that everybody has seen over the years, Miguel Cabrera. He's out probably for the rest of the season.
And a ruptured bicep tendon that knocked him out. He took a very awkward swing, and that knocked him out for the season for sure. There's another strike. 2-2 to Candelario.
Keep an eye on Marcus Stroman tonight, changing up his delivery, the hesitation move, the quick pitch when nobody's on base. Right now, he's shown a couple times to Candelario the difference in his delivery. That's just to upset the timing a little bit of those hitters.
Here's the 3-2 pitch to Candelario. Cut on and missed. Stroman with his first strikeout of the night.
Well, in that last start against the Angels, he said, I was controlling my pitches a little bit better. The sinker was sinking. Look at that ball. Dive bomb underneath the bat of Candelario. I always feel that Stroman's good when he is pounding that strike zone down, especially with the breaking ball.
Nicholas Castellanos, a fine right fielder for the Tigers. Foul tip off Martin's mitt. Castellanos this year against the Blue Jays, as we mentioned, he's 5 for 12. He's hitting .310 on the season. He's got 99 hits. 11 homers and 47 RBIs.
And power, lots of power the other way. Right center field, the outfield really bunching him towards center field.
Stroman with a good slider there.
And deep. There they are right there. Now with a couple of strikes, you can see Kevin Pillar start to shade him just a little bit more in that gap in right center field.
That infield is basically straight away. Another slider. Good inning for Marcus Stroman. 3 up, 3 down. He gets a couple of strikeouts. Looks a little bit more vintage Stroman early on. For a long homestand. Take a look at the lineup for the Blue Jays. They had a 3-4 road trip and lost a heartbreaker on Wednesday afternoon down in Houston. Randall Grichuk back in the top of the order. Over his last 21 games, he's hit over 300. And he's hitting with some authority. 6 doubles, 7 home runs, and 17 RBIs. And how about Justin Smoke? Against the Tigers, they seem to bring out the best in Smoke. 11 home runs, 28 RBIs in the 46 games he's played against Detroit. And tonight they'll take on their former teammate.
Yeah, and just like Marcus Stroman, who came off the disabled list to pitch a pretty good game in his first start off the DL, Francisco Liriano did the same thing, returned from the disabled list with 4 innings in a defeat at Cleveland last Saturday. There are his numbers this season, 3-3 with a 394 earned run average. His last win was versus Cleveland on May the 15th.
Grichuk goes after the first pitch and pops it up on the infield. John Hicks makes charge. The first baseman makes the catch. 1 away. In the outfield, Leonis Martinez in center. He's flanked by Jacoby Jones and Nick Castellanos. And like the Blue Jays, the Tigers have a pretty good shortstop.
Yeah, I wanted to highlight both shortstops because they've been playing really well this season. Iglesias at shortstop has 75 starts out of 82 games. He's 3rd in the American League in fielding percentage for shortstops, 3rd in zone rating, and he is just a magician with that glove. It is a joy to watch him take ground balls at shortstop.
Is Teoscar Hernandez. Iglesias, now 28 years old. He began his big league career with the Red Sox in 2011. Came over to Detroit mid-season in 2013. Broken bat, that's going to drop for a base hit for Teoscar. He gets off to a good start tonight.
Well, he hit his first big league home run against the man on the mound tonight in Francisco Liriano, and he starts his night off right. You can't pull this pitch. There's too much movement down and away, two-seamer down and away. Look how he stays on that one. Head straight down, plate coverage on that sinker down and away. You don't try and pull it. Just poke it the other way for your first hit.
So Hernandez now with his 67th hit of the season is at first base for Solarte. Blue Jays have 3 switch hitters in a row. Broken bat, this should be 2. Machado to Iglesias, back to first, the double play. Well, you talk about a quick inning. Francisco Liriano gets 3 outs on 4 pitches.
Atkins addressed the media on the Steve Pearce trade to the Red Sox. According to Atkins, the deal that involved $1.5 million in cash and infielder 23-year-old Santiago Espinal got done rather quickly. Atkins said as long as both teams have the ducks in a row and are prepared going in, there should be no issues. In fact, the Steve Pearce deal got done in 1 hour's time. Asked whether the move was motivated by the logjam in the outfield or if it was the first step in pointing the needle towards the future, Atkins said ultimately there's always that balance of future versus now in the present day lineup. The club feels good about how well Grichuk, Hernandez, Morales, and Smoke are playing, Buck. Obviously, with where the club is in the standings, they're looking to the future, but there are still players in that clubhouse driven to win.
Absolutely, and you just have to make sure you figure out who you want to keep and who you feel like you can improve upon, and that's the big challenge for the general manager.
And Steve Pearce is in the lineup tonight for the Boston Red Sox, playing first base, batting against CC Sabathia as they open up that series against the Yankees.
It's amazing how quickly players can move around when they're going up in the standings, isn't it?
They're there the next day and they're in the lineup.
Steve Pearce was at Josh Donaldson's charity event last night and got the news, I'm sure, around 9:30, 10 o'clock, and made his way to Boston. Pearce gained 17 games in the standings.
He is batting in the cleanup position tonight behind J.D. Martinez. How about that?
Here is Victor Martinez, the DH for the Tigers. There's a base hit up the middle. Martinez just keeps on hitting. Let's take a look at the player the Blue Jays got in return for Steve Pearce. It's Santiago Espinal. He's batting .313 in A-ball. That was where he was in A-ball in the minor league system, and he's 23 years old. He played in junior college, so he got a later start in his career. He's originally from the Dominican Republic, but he's an interesting player. Everybody feels like he can play shortstop, and he's got some pop, 7 home runs, 32 RBIs, so he's an interesting young player, and the Blue Jays are getting loaded with middle infielders in their minor league system.
Shortstops and second basemen, they're everywhere within that organization. I think there's some familiarity. Steve Sanders, who is now with the Blue Jays here, was with the Boston Red Sox, where Espinal has come from. So there's some former knowledge of him in the farm system.
John Hicks, the first baseman, bounces it foul up the first baseline. Stroman retired the side in order on 11 pitches in the first with a couple of strikeouts. The veteran Victor Martinez picks up his second hit against Stroman. He's just had 4 at-bats. But takes him right back up the middle. Hicks swings and misses. I mentioned Hicks has a mini 4-game hit streak, 7 for his last 15.
He's got some power, but you can get him out with stuff down and away. That looks like where they're going.
Another slider for the strikeout. Stroman's got a good breaking ball early in this game. Well, Darnell Sweeney, there he is on the bench. He just came up from AAA Buffalo, and he is a guy that has had some time in the past with the Phillies in the big leagues. And he is a switch hitter, an infielder, and got a chance to move around and help out. He's 27 years old. He's from Hollywood, Florida. Played baseball at the University of Central Florida. This year at AAA Buffalo, he played in 47 games, had a .232 batting average with 6 homers and 21 RBIs.
You know what he gives the Blue Jays? Some speed on the bench, the ability to play multiple positions and the outfield. But if he's not playing, he can come off the bench late in the game and steal your base. He's got some speed.
He had 32 stolen bases in AAA Oklahoma City with the Dodgers in 2015. So that's something the Blue Jays sorely need. They need more speed. They don't have a very fast team at all. This is James McCann, the catcher. He takes ball 2 outside. As we mentioned, Stroman's only pitched twice against the Tigers, so not many at-bats for this lineup. McCann is 1 for 3, like Victor Martinez before him.
You got plenty of right-handed batters in the lineup also for the Tigers tonight, and if he's got that breaking ball working, he should have a high strikeout evening.
Well, the Tigers have lost 9 in a row, and during that losing streak as a team, they've hit .213 with just 4 home runs, 11 doubles, and a triple. They've only scored 24 runs in their last 9 games. They've been outscored 61-24. Ground ball. This could be 2. Solarte, Travis, Smoke. It is a double play. That's a patented Stroman pitch. The ground ball induces the double play. Stroman gets out of the 7th.
Covered. Get the lowdown on every move. Hockey Central signing season presented by Molson Canadian. Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific time, only on Sportsnet. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hey Sutherland. What a night for baseball. What a weekend for baseball. Canada Day is on Sunday, and it's a holiday Monday game, so the next 3 games will all start at 1 p.m. local time. So make sure you check your schedules and don't be late. It's supposed to be a gorgeous weekend all weekend long to celebrate Canada Day on Sunday. It's also Aaron Sanchez's birthday, so we can celebrate that as well. Liriano delivers a first pitch strike to Kendrys Morales. Morales hitting cleanup tonight. Smoke will follow him, and then Kevin Pillar. I asked some of the Blue Jay hitters about facing Liriano, and to a man, they were all talking about what a great arm he has and how explosive his pitches are. But he's somewhat like Jaime Garcia in that he's always had trouble battling his command.
You mentioned he only threw 4 pitches in the first inning. I think what the Blue Jays are going to have to do, they're going to have to work him over right now. His first start since coming off the disabled list last time against Cleveland, he threw 4 innings. There's another ground ball, this time off the end of the bat.
A little slider off the end of the bat. Morales is retired.
But it took him 75 pitches, Buck, to get through 4 innings. He's always been a guy who throws a lot of pitches. This is what he will throw. Fastball, slider, changeup, and a curveball occasionally, 1% of the time. But you got to make Liriano, you got to get him down into that strike zone. There's times that he will fly open, and that ball will fly all over the strike zone.
This is Justin Smoke. We mentioned the Blue Jays have 3 switch hitters in a row in Solarte, Morales, and Smoke. And Darnell Sweeney, the newest Blue Jay, also a switch hitter. He's on the bench for the Blue Jays. Well, what a asset that is, and a benefit to have switch hitters on the bench, in the lineup.
You don't have to go to your bench that often because, you know, if you want to pinch hit, just switch over.
Breaking ball hit high in the air. Playable. Martin coming in. Waits for it, and Smoke's return. The Pitch Tracker is brought to you by Coors Light. Coors Light MLB cans available now, featuring the Blue Jays, Red Sox, Yankees, Cubs, Mariners, and Expos. Here is Kevin Pillar. Pillar on the road trip hit .240, 6 for 25. He had a pair of doubles and RBI. Liriano's getting that slider over early in this game.
And that's okay. First time through, just make him throw strikes. He's averaging 16 pitches an inning this season in his 11 starts.
Boy, the bottom just dropped out of that fastball, 87 miles an hour, and it looked like it dropped about a foot.
His name has been mentioned again as a trade possibility. Blue Jays really struck gold when they traded him to Houston for Teoscar Hernandez, and now here he is with Detroit, and there's talk that he could be valuable for a team, a contender.
Well, you put him in the bullpen like the Astros did after that trade, and he could be very effective.
He's a lights-out lefty when he's throwing the ball over the plate.
For his career, left-handers have hit only .217 against him. That's a pretty good pitch off the plate. The Tigers won 2 of 3 the last time these two teams met. They had a 3-game series started June 1st in Detroit. Garcia against Blaine Hardy in the opener, and Tigers won that one 5-2. Jay Happ and Matthew Boyd, the starters in game 2, and the Tigers won that one as well. Sanchez was the winning pitcher in the final game. They won that one 8-4, the Blue Jays. So Pillar draws the walk. Pillar needs to run a little bit. He's 10 for 11 in stolen bases. Liriano, a little bit deliberate to the plate, but his pitches move so much it's hard for the catcher to catch him and throw him.
Yeah, and he doesn't have what you call an A type of move over to first base. It's a typical left-hander's type of move over to first base. He will try to help out the catcher by slide stepping a little bit more. He doesn't have that high of a leg kick. But I'm with you. This is a great time just to try and get yourself into scoring position.
Russell Martin, 1 ball, no strikes. 2-0 now. With Liriano on the mound, they've caught 2 of 6 base stealers this season. Martin on this most recent road trip, 3 for 13. Pillar not running. There's a strike.
He will see his share of pitches. Always in the top 10 in number of pitches seen per plate appearance. Throw that fastball again, just like you did, that 2-0 pitch.
2-1, 2 outs. Pillar at first, and he's not running. And there's another fastball strike. 2-2 now. Boy, this is a pretty good time to run. I think Liriano probably throw a slider.
Yep.
So a little bit slower getting to the plate. There's a chance he'll bounce it.
He hasn't gotten a good read against him yet, so just go on his first movement.
Still not running. There's a slider in the dirt. It would have been a great time to run. So now it's a full count. He'll run for sure with 2 outs. Hicks backs up behind the base runner Pillar at first. Martin with a full count. Liriano has thrown 18 pitches in this inning. Ball 4. So Martin draws the walk, his 36th of the season. Back-to-back 2-out walks, and that's always been an issue with Liriano.
Yeah, 2 very quick outs to Morales and then Smoke. And then he was ahead of Kevin Pillar 1 and 2, and then missed 3 straight times.
Well, then Miss Diaz, he had a nice road trip. He had 375 on this past road trip with a double, a home run, and 3 RBIs. And he has hit Liriano well, 3 for 5 in his career. All of a sudden, Liriano can't throw a strike.
And this is what the Blue Jays should do right here. Wait him out. Make sure he brings it over the plate before you swing. Thought they did a good job against the last left-hander that they faced in the first inning. Dallas Keuchel on Wednesday. They really waited for him in that first inning and made him throw that ball over the plate. And when they did, they scorched him for 5 runs.
5 runs on 4 hits and 2 walks in that inning, as they sent 9 batters to the plate. But despite a 5-0 lead, they would lose that game. 1-1 to Diaz. Goes after a borderline pitch. You could see if everything is away, had Diaz been a little more patient, probably would be a 3-0 count. But now Liriano has the upper hand. You've got a very free swinger at the plate. And he can throw that slider in the dirt. He can throw a good sinking fastball. He's got some options.
Yeah, at one time he had a wipeout type of slider. Good enough to throw a no-hitter.
Fastball poked down the right side, but it's foul.
Yeah, that thing used to sweep in there, and he would take left-handed batters out. He'd strike right-handed batters out with it. It doesn't move as much as it did when he was younger. Hard to believe, but he made his major league debut in September of 2005 already. He's been in the big leagues a long time.
Got a shot at Pilar, but he's back in safely as Iglesias snuck in behind the base runner at second. Another thing about Liriano that a lot of people might not know, he actually began his career with the San Francisco Giants. He was part of a terrific trade the Twins pulled off with the Giants. Here's the 1-2. Goes after that pitch in the dirt. That was a heck of a sinker. We'll tell you more about that trade when we come back. We've played 2 innings, each team with a hit. Nobody's scored yet. DL, and he was a big part of the success the starters had the last couple of years. And when you look at the ERA for the team this year, as far as the starters go, the last 6 games, things have been a little bit more like everybody expected. The ERA at 3.48 for the last 6 starts.
Yeah, Marco Estrada, 7 innings, 2 earned runs. That was against the Angels. Then the start for Stroman out in Los Angeles. Sam Gaviglio pitched 4 2/3 innings. Jay Happ, what can you say about Jay Happ? He's been outstanding all year long. And Brian Borucki, 2 earned runs in his 6 innings of work down in Houston. So the starters, they're getting the job done for the Blue Jays lately.
So Marcus Stroman has thrown 22 pitches in 2 innings. Here's Jacoby Jones. He shows bunt, takes a strike. Boy, you can see there's a lot better finish to Stroman's fastball. It's 93, and he talked about the fact that he's healthy now and he can throw about 85% effort. And I understand that he wasn't healthy early on. It goes back to spring training, and he said he was really having to use his entire body, 100% effort on every pitch, and he just didn't have great command.
But you said it. It's about finish and movement out around the plate. And you see it more tonight than we saw in Los Angeles in his last start. Last start he was good, 5 innings, did not give up an earned run, had 5 strikeouts. But he had plenty of base runners in those 5 innings, and he made pitches, and the defense was great. Tonight you can see some movement, some explosion to the plate on his pitches. He's always better when he's using that breaking ball a little bit more. And against the right-handers tonight for the Tigers, the breaking ball should be good for him.
Ground ball. Solarte took a little bit of time to get it out of his glove, and Jacoby Jones, as he always does, hustled up the line and beats it out.
You know what? You can't take anything for granted in this game. Even a ball off the end of the bat like Jones has, you got to bust it up the line. Dave Clark, the third base coach, was telling us today this is a fun team because they play the game the right way. They've got a lot of team speed, guys who can run. And when the ball is mishandled just a little bit by Solarte, that's all it took right there for Jacoby Jones to beat it out at first base.
Jacoby Jones came into this game hitting .223. The Tigers have lost 9 in a row, and that's the kind of effort Gardner wants to see from his players. Hey, can't feel sorry for yourself. Just give me a good effort. Jose Iglesias, the shortstop. Iglesias hitting .269.
.269. He doesn't have a whole lot of power, but he can handle that bat. And I was watching him in batting practice today. In his first round, everything was going to right field. I think this situation is crying out for a hit and run.
How about a bunt?
Or that.
Like that. Yep.
Something. You got the third baseman back.
Well, whatever you've done over the last 9 games isn't working, so you got to shake things up a bit. Iglesias himself has done okay over those last 9 games. Ron Gardner, of course, doesn't have the big guy, Miguel Cabrera. And it's tough to lose somebody like that. Any team would suffer when they lose their star player.
So you have to figure out how to score runs when you're not hitting home runs or you're not hitting. Just a couple of years ago, they had Justin Upton, they had Ian Kinsler, they had Miguel Cabrera.
J.D. Martinez.
Oh, yeah, J.D. Martinez was on this team, too. So he's lost a lot of firepower, so he's got to figure out ways to score runs.
Iglesias takes a ball. 2-1. Stroman taking a lot of time. Iglesias just kind of relaxed in the batter's box, and that slider was low.
Looked like he was trying to call time, but he didn't get it from the home plate umpire. And for Iglesias, he's lucky that ball was low.
Breaking ball inside. Now it's 3-1. Don't be surprised if they run right here. Just trying to get something going. As Pat mentioned, Iglesias can put the bat on the ball. And we've seen Jones. He's got speed.
Yeah, he's 7 for 11 in steals, but Marcus throws a lot of ground balls, so you want to stay out of the double play.
Not running. Ball is fouled off Iglesias' foot. I'm surprised they didn't run there. And you're right. Stroman has already induced a 5-4-3 double play. That ended the second inning.
Yeah, when you start that runner and the ball is hit, the infielders have to concentrate on the ball. They can't look up and see where they're going to throw the ball. They're going to have to just make a decision right away, and it'll probably be over to first base.
There goes the runner, and it's a perfect base hit to right. Jones is breezing over to third base. Iglesias with a hit and run base hit. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Steve Pearson, the lineup at first base against CC Sabathia, and I think that's a perfect move for the Red Sox. He can platoon with Moreland. You can give the DH the night off against tough left-handers, and you can give Andrew Benintendi night off against the tough left-handers.
I think he takes the place of Hanley Ramirez. Hanley Ramirez was let go a month or two ago, and they just haven't had that production from the right side. That might be a good pickup for him.
This is the number 9 hitter, Dixon Machado, batting .208 for the Says with a homer and 21 RBIs. Stroman's ahead 0-1. Now it's 0-2. Marcus needs a strikeout right here. You don't want contact in this situation. Even if you get a double play, it'll cost you a run.
It'll cost you a run. Blue Jays infield playing back, expecting the ball on the ground. But you need a strikeout. Slider off the plate.
Ground ball. Should be 2. Diaz to Smoke. It is a double play, but Jacoby Jones comes in to score the first run of the ball game. He reached after Solarte bobbled the ball. He's credited with an infield hit, but it could have been an easy out had Solarte fielded it cleanly.
Then they start the runner, and the ball is hit into the outfield. He goes to third base. He will score on the double play. You got to do that. You got to play your infield back. It's early in the ball game. You'll trade a couple of outs for a run.
Well, Ron Gardner put the base runner in motion on the 3-2 pitch to Iglesias, and Jacoby Jones goes to third. He scores on the double play. Leonis Martin, the center fielder, is a terrific outfielder, and he's hitting .257. He's got 9 home runs.
Yeah, watch out. He's got a little pop, too.
He bunts right through that pitch. You saw Solarte back at third base and took a shot.
And he's not budging at third base either. Said, okay, you want to go ahead and bunt? Here it is. He's going to play deep at third and give Martin the hit. Marcus Stroman is an outstanding fielder.
He's a Gold Glover. Ground ball, fair ball. Smoke will go to the bag, and the Tigers take advantage of a couple of base hits, a hit and run, and they score a run on a double play ground out.
Fans will receive this Blue Jays bucket hat in Margaritaville at the ballpark. Join us in the WestJet Flight Deck for live music and entertainment. Then watch your Blue Jays host the New York Yankees. For tickets, visit bluejays.com.
Make sure you come on out Friday night and enjoy Margaritaville. You get a bucket hat just like that one. Going to be a great week. Tigers are here for 4. The Mets and Jose Bautista here for a 2-game series. And then the New York Yankees come to town. Devin Travis getting his first at bat of the night. Takes one up and away for a ball. Devin just 4 for 23 on the road trip. Had a double and a home run. He drove in 5 runs. He had a productive 4 hits.
I think 3 of those were on one swing, wasn't it?
3-run home run. Yep.
To right center field.
In Anaheim.
That's his happy zone for me. That ball down and away, if he can stay on that thing, if he can get it on the plate, Devin can hit it hard the other way.
He hits it hard the other way, but right to the first baseman. 1 out. Let's check in again with Jamie Campbell. Thank you, Jamie. And you got to believe Mike Trout was having trouble with that finger when the Blue Jays faced him in that series in California. The Blue Jays really pitched him well. He was not playing in center field, but Trout, 64 runs scored now. Second to Lindor of the Indians.
You know what else went right for the Blue Jays against Mike Trout out there? We were talking about it earlier. They threw a couple of high fastballs that were called strike 3. And Mike had to start swinging at it.
There's a drive deep to left field. This ball is going to hang up, and Jacoby Jones makes the catch. Randall Grichuk hit it off the end of the bat. It didn't carry well.
Sounded like he might have cracked his bat and sent the left fielder all the way to the wall. I was talking to Brooke Jacoby today, and I said, Jake, you know, how good could Grichuk be? He says, if you look at his miles per hour off the bat,
exit velocity,
it's as high as anybody on the team, so he feels like he can hit his share of home runs when he gets a swing down, when he doesn't go around the ball or tries to uppercut or try to get the ball out of the ballpark. Just take a good swing. He creates so much bat speed within the strike zone that the ball's going to just jump off of his bat. He doesn't have the easy power like the guy hitting at the plate right now, Teoscar Hernandez, but he's got some power.
Teoscar with a 1-1 count. Grichuk with 7 home runs and 17 RBIs in the month of June. Respectable numbers. Fly ball into center field. Leonis Martin coming in, and a quick inning for Liriano. 3 up, 3 down.
League-mandated 75-game suspension is up on August 4th. The next day, the team will welcome him back as their closer. Quote, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be. Atkins continued on to say that the word that comes to mind for him when you talk about the situation is empathy, not just for Osuna, but for everyone involved. That's where they're going to spend their time and energy. Whether fans will be welcoming to the return of Osuna is unclear. According to Atkins, it's a delicate balance, and it's something the club takes very seriously. Regardless of what the verdict is in the courts, Buck, it's an extremely difficult balancing act. For more on this, check out Shai Davidi's column up right now on sportsnet.ca.
Yeah, very interesting development, and the Blue Jays hadn't said an awful lot about Osuna, but when the baseball decision was rendered that he was suspended till August 4th, they chose not to make too much about it. But now today, Ross Atkins addressed it and says, yeah, the Blue Jays will welcome him back when that suspension is served. Jeimer Candelario struck out against Stroman in the first inning. Detroit has a 1-0 lead.
That's a nice, easy get-me-over breaking ball, isn't it? Didn't take a lot of effort just to spin that thing in there and get strike one.
A change of miss downstairs. A lot of pitching coaches will talk about that first pitch breaking ball as stealing a strike. A lot of hitters aren't going up there looking for a first pitch breaking ball.
I like it because it's not a max effort type of pitch, and you're not overexerting yourself just to throw strike one. Just flip it in there, and that hitter, it freezes him just for a second.
That slider is pulled foul. Marcus always has had the ability to spin the baseball. That was one of the things that attracted the Blue Jays to him when they drafted him. That's cutter there, 87. You see a difference in the slider and the cutter is about 5 miles of velocity.
In his last start in Anaheim, in those 5 innings, he threw about 13.5% cutters. He threw more curveballs than his normal pitch usage this season.
Well, that was a good pitch there. You could see Martin set up on the inside corner, and Stroman had a lot of late movement on that two-seam fastball.
Watch the life on the two-seamer. After a couple of breaking balls inside, you throw that thing in there, and you're hoping for that left-handed batter to take it for strike three.
We had this conversation down in Houston after we had talked to Brent Strom, the pitching coach for the Astros, about the four-seam fastball to left-handed hitters opposed to the two-seam fastball. And it was interesting because he brought it to his pitcher's attention that two-seam fastball to the left-handers runs to the barrel of the bat like that, but it's a ground ball to smoke. And they have encouraged the Astros pitchers to use more four-seam fastballs to the left-handed hitters.
Another reason
that works to the handle.
That it works to the handle, and you know what else it does? It accelerates as it gets towards home plate, the four-seamer, where the two-seamer decelerates as it gets towards home. And they brought in none other than Lance Berkman, one of the greatest hitters in Houston history, and they asked him, as a left-handed hitter, he was a switch hitter, a right-handed two-seam sinker, what do you think about that? And he said, well, I know when I'm facing that two-seamer and it's outside, he knows that thing's going to go off the plate, but a four-seamer can stay on the hitting plane. So you can't fall in love with one pitch, I guess what they're saying, and you use your four-seamer. That first pitch right there, he threw it right by Castellanos. Four-seamer with some life.
And a very weak swing from Castellanos. Why not come right back with it? Russ Martin liked the results of the first pitch and said, hey, let's stick with it.
Now go to a breaking ball. He struck him out his first time up on a slider off the plate.
Hot shot, one hopper to the shortstop, Diaz.
The diverse Civic family, our most powerful lineup yet. Honda, proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Beautiful weekend beginning the Canada Day weekend, and the weather is spectacular. Everybody out and about. A lot of people headed up to the cottage, and we hope you've had a safe trip to your cottage and you're watching the ball game now. Victor Martinez. What a hitter he has been for a long time. And remember, he was a catcher with a great bat for most of his career. Victor's now 39 years old. This is his 16th season in majors. 6 for his last 31, but he had a base hit his first time up.
Started in the Cleveland Indians organization, won a couple of batting titles in the minor leagues. A switch hitting catcher with power and plate coverage, knowing how to hit, very patient at the plate. What a rare commodity that is.
Ground ball off the end of his bat. Plenty of time for Travis and Stroman. His 3 ground ball outs in the 4th. But the Tigers have a 1-0 lead. Coming up after our game tonight at 10 Eastern time on Sportsnet 1 and Sportsnet Now. The Cleveland Indians are out in Oakland to take on the A's. And how about Trevor Bauer? Bauer is 5-2 with a 193 earned run average over his last 8 starts. He has 83 strikeouts and 14 walks over that stretch. He is dealing right now. Yannivis Solarte hit into an inning-ending double play his first time up. Liriano very sharp early in this game.
He's throwing that slider for strikes for the most part. When he reaches back for a little something extra, that's when he's missing with his fastball.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, what I was going to say, when he slows down and lets the arm catch up and throws the slider, look, that's when he's been really good so far.
Ground ball in the hole. Iglesias not going to have a shot at it. That'll be an infield hit for Solarte. Second hit for the Blue Jays this evening. Well, he hit that one perfectly between the third baseman and shortstop.
You can play deep because he's not going to bunt. And he places this one perfectly out of the reach of Candelario. The great range from Iglesias gets to it, but he's got no chance over to first base. That's just too tough of a play.
So Solarte with a leadoff single. Kendrys Morales hit a ground ball to the second baseman his first time up. We promised to tell you about the history of Liriano and the trade. He signed with the Giants as an amateur free agent in 2000. And then he was traded from San Francisco along with Boof Bonser and Joe Nathan for A.J. Pierzynski in November of 2003. And at the time, Liriano was just a little-known minor leaguer. Well, Minnesota made a terrific trade, getting Nathan and Liriano, who eventually worked into their starting rotation. Boof Bonser had a couple of decent seasons, but he didn't pan out the way they had hoped.
Don't know if injuries had some of the problems for that, but he was the name, the big name. Bonser was the big name in that trade. That's where Liriano really established himself.
He pitched 7 seasons with the Twins, made 130 starts. His manager, Ron Gardenhire.
Was Rick Anderson there too as pitching coach?
Rick Anderson was pitching coach, who is now the pitching coach of the Tigers as Chris Bosio was let go. So Gardenhire and Rick Anderson again teamed up as manager and pitching coach. Spent a lot of time together in Minnesota. Good breaking ball, but just a bit low. Blue Jays trail 1-0. The Tigers have lost 9 straight. Their longest losing streak since they lost 10 in a row in 2003. That was a season in which they lost 119 games. During that 10-game win streak in 2003, Ron Gardenhire won 3 games as the manager of the Twins. Now he's the skipper of the Tigers. 3-2. Base hit to right field. Solarte around second. He's headed for third. Here's the throw, and it's a strong one. And they got him. Castellanos with his 5th outfield assist. Solarte trying to go first to third, and you can't blame him. The ball wasn't that sharply hit, but Castellanos ran a long way and made a good throw.
Did a good job to get to that ball off the end of the bat by Kendrys Morales. Surprised they didn't start the runner. If they start the runner, he makes it easily over to third base. But Solarte's got to start from a standstill, and Castellanos was a good one-hop throw. This is what you want as an outfielder. One hop, keep it low, right to the infielder, and he is out at third base.
The Tigers outfielders, they all have good arms. Martin in center has 8 outfield assists. Castellanos now with 5. Jacoby Jones has 4. And Jones is kind of a super utility outfielder. He plays all 3. Smoke high and deep. Get up, ball. Get up, ball. Get out of here. Down. Justin Smoke, his 12th career home run against Detroit, has given the Blue Jays a 2-1 lead.
Teams continue to run left-handed pitchers out against the Blue Jays, and it surprises me because it turns around the switch hitters, and the Blue Jays switch hitters are actually better hitters from the right side. Justin Smoke, 286 against left-handers. That's his 3rd home run this season. He was fooled a little bit, just ever so slightly on that pitch from Liriano, but he's able to stay back enough and flick the bat at the ball. Watch the slider. He flicks the bat at the ball and he's got enough pop to get it over the wall in left field.
Off the glove of Hicks into right field. Pilar's hustling around first. He'll stop there with another base hit. 4 straight hits for the Blue Jays in this inning.
They had the infield hit, and unfortunately they had that runner thrown out at third base, or this would have been a 3-run home run. Smoke, he's got a nice swing from the right side. Just stay back long enough and get enough of it down the line. His 10th home run. Blue Jays have taken this outside pitch from Liriano twice this inning and shot it to right field.
Pilar has walked and singled so far tonight. Russell Martin, he too walked like Pilar. They both walked back to back with 2 outs in the 2nd.
That home run by Justin Smoke as a switch hitter since the beginning of last year, his 48th home run since the beginning of last year. Only Francisco Lindor, Jose Ramirez from the Cleveland Indians as switch hitters have hit more over that time period.
Ball on a strike to Martin.
What a timely hit too. They needed that after that runner got thrown out at third base. They needed something big.
Russell Martin, he is very patient and selective at the plate. He drew that walk his first time up. Martin now with 36 walks this season. Two balls and a strike. Pilar dives back in safely at first. Time Morales talking with Smoke, and Morales had a solid base hit to right field, and then Smoke hit the home run. They're exchanging information about the sinker, and then Smoke hit a slider, just kind of spun out over the plate. 3-1 now to Martin. Talking about the sequence that Morales had. Fastball down and a slider, and then Smoke. So you come back inside and jam you. Interesting conversation. Martin walks for a second time. That'll push Pilar to second base. 5 base runners have faced Liriano this inning, and all 5 had reached base. The last 9 games, the Tigers have been declawed for sure. 0-9, ERA at .675. They've hit just .213. Look at the fact they've been out homered 17-4. Of course, that includes a 4-game sweep at the hands of the Oakland A's, who have been on a homer rampage.
Yeah, and a sweep at Cleveland. They lost a couple of games at Cincinnati. A lot of those losses on the road at Cincinnati, at Cleveland, then back home, that 4-game series against Oakland. Again, we mentioned they haven't been hitting. They haven't been able to hit too many home runs. And this was always a team, the Detroit Tigers, that hit a lot of home runs. But the home run hitters are gone out of their lineup. So you can navigate through some of the guys who can leave the ballpark. Their 2 top home run hitters, number 1 is Castellanos with 11 and Candelario with 11.
Yeah, you just got to make sure you're pitching to them with some wiggle room. Aledmus Diaz struck out against Liriano, the only strikeout he's recorded so far. Well, Blue Jays really need to capitalize and put together a big inning here. The first 5 men that faced Liriano this inning all reached base. The only out was Solarte, who was thrown out trying to go first to third.
Yeah. So there's 1 down. This is Liriano. 4 pitches in the first inning, 24 pitches in the second inning, a 1-2-3 very quick inning in the third, and now he's run into trouble here in the fourth. Inconsistent with this fastball.
Throws that good cutter down and in. We mentioned the outfield assists for the Tigers. They lead the American League with 18 outfield assists. The Orioles have 17. And what do they both have in common? Lots of base runners. They have a lot of opportunities to throw out base runners. There are 6 teams in the American League tied with 17 outfield assists.
I imagine people don't run on the Boston Red Sox because they've got great outfielders, athletic outfielders with great arms. Plus, you got that wall in left field. You're not going to go that extra base. You're not going to try and take that extra base on them.
Another walk issued by Liriano, and that'll load the bases.
Check out the Beauty Tone Paint event on now through July 3rd, only at Home Hardware. Here's how.
Beautiful evening here in Toronto. The roof is wide open on a gorgeous evening, and Warwick Sapo first up for the Tigers. Devin Travis takes the first pitch strike. Devin lined out softly to the first baseman. His only time up.
Pretty good numbers with the bases loaded in his career. Cut everything down right here. You're looking to get that ball into the outfield.
Ground ball off the end of the bat. They're going to come home. There's the force out at home. That's all they'll get. So John Hicks makes a strong throw to James McCann for the force out. Pilar is forced at home. So now there are 2 outs. Rick Anderson, as we mentioned, has just taken over as the pitching coach. Chris Bosio was fired as the pitching coach. Anderson had been in the bullpen as their bullpen coach, and he and Ron Gardenhire were teamed up in Minnesota.
Boy, he's flying open, and he just can't get that fastball over.
Brando Grichuk just missed a home run his last time up. He flied out to left field. Grichuk came into this game batting .306 over his last 21 games. Little chopper toward third. It's going to be a tough play for Candelario, and he's got no play. So Grichuk picks up his 18th RBI of the month of June. That'll give him 25 for the season, and the Blue Jays take a 3-1 lead.
Sometimes the game is tough. You hit the ball like he did last time up, nothing to show for it. Then you dribble one up the third base line with the bases loaded, and you have an infield hit and an RBI. And if you're Randall Grichuk, I'm taking it. I'm taking every one of those.
Well, Grichuk, as we mentioned, 18 RBIs. That ties him with Castellanos and Mitch Haniger of the Mariners. Of course, we saw Evan Gattis. He's got 30 RBIs in the month of June, and then his third base teammate, Alex Bregman, has 26. Nelson Cruz of the Mariners with 24 RBIs. Eduardo Escobar of the Twins, he's got 22. Teoscar Hernandez, the 9th Blue Jay to bat this inning. They have had a bat around inning, and he didn't like that call. Liriano has been battling his control all game long, and then he gets a borderline call in his favor.
Yeah, instead of 1-1, it's 0-2. Now you got to battle. Expand your strike zone a little bit.
Liriano has issued 4 walks through 3 2/3. That ties his season high. He has walked 4 in a ball game now 3 times. And he minimizes the damage. Blue Jays will leave the bases loaded. But the Blue Jays score 3 to give Marcus Stroman a 3-1 lead. Now time for Blue Jays Simple update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Joe Siddle in the Samsung broadcast studio.
Unforgettable. The Tour de France, July 7th to the 29th on Sportsnet 1. And Buck, a quick Aaron Sanchez update. That right index finger of his still tender. It needs a little bit more time. He will miss at least one more start. Nothing official, of course, but it looks like Ryan Barucki gets the start Monday. He certainly earned it after that quality start at his big league debut.
Well, he did earn it for sure, and he will get a chance to pitch more than likely on Monday. Aaron tried to throw, couldn't throw. That right index finger still giving him problems.
We saw that out in Anaheim, and it was swollen. And just do the safe thing and do the right thing. Put him on the DL, let the thing simmer down, heal up, do some throwing, and he'll be back in there.
That hit Stroman. It bounces right to Travis, who's there to make the out. So Hicks is retired on the ground down.
Yeah, Marcus is probably wishing it was a ground ball when it came back at him. Squares this up right back at him, and he actually kicks the ball over to Travis to get the out. Watch this thing come lining right back to him. Was able to deflect it to a second baseman and get the out.
Yeah, Stroman is a terrific defender, and he didn't even have time to get squared up on that one. He won the Gold Glove last year, of course. Here's James McCann. He hit into a double play last time up. Tigers have a run on 3 hits. The Blue Jays have 3 runs on 6 hits, and for the Blue Jays, 2-run home run by Justin Smoke. A lot more depth to his slider than we have seen earlier. And of course, we talked about the fact that he had shoulder issues. Tried to pitch through them, and it didn't go well for him.
Some late life on that slider. Late. Some of these swings from the Tigers, they're just not picking the ball up.
The cutter there gets the strikeout for Stroman. That'll be strikeout number 4.
Good usage of that pitch too. It looks like a fastball coming in. The hitter, you start to swing, and now the spin takes it off the plane. You want to get some depth on that breaking ball so it gets underneath the bat.
.500th career strikeout for Marcus Stroman, so he reaches another milestone with that strikeout of McCann.
21st Blue Jay to do that. Yeah, the fans were clapping. I don't think Marcus understood what was going on. They showed it up on the scoreboard, so he's looking around like, what was that all about? Milestone strikeout.
Jacoby Jones had that infield hit. It was a ground ball. Solarte bobbled it, had trouble getting it out of his glove, and Jones beat it out for an infield hit, and he scored the Tigers' run. That was in the 3rd. Marcus has 10 ground ball outs and 4 strikeouts. There hasn't been an out recorded in the outfield. And that's vintage Marcus Stroman.
Yeah, that's what you're looking for whenever he starts. See if you can get that ground ball percentage up to 60, 65%.
There's a fly ball right on cue. Kevin Pillar calls for it, makes the catch in shallow right center. Bring up 3 down. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. The Blue Jays lead it 3-1.
experience with the MLB Ballpark app. Access and manage your tickets. Enjoy check-in offers, exclusive content, and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today.
Well, that young man is having a good time at the old ballpark. He's got his cheeseburger hat on. Perfect.
As long as it keeps you cool, right? Isn't that what you do? Didn't the old ball players put lettuce in their hat to keep them cool on summer days?
That's what they say they did.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
I never saw anybody put lettuce in their cap. And if it would have been a good idea, I know we would have done it in Kansas City.
Yes.
Liriano back out for the bottom of the fifth. There's a fly ball, not deep at all. Martin coming in shallow center field, makes the catch. Let's check in again with Jamie Campbell. Well, there are two names you're going to hear for a long time in relationship to the Yankees. Miguel Andujar. He drove in a run earlier in the game with a little bloop single into center field, and now he hits his 12th home run. And Greg Bird, he was hurt, out, and now he's back in the lineup. They got some good young players.
Can I add another name to that? Gleyber Torres?
Oh, yeah. He's going to be there for a long time as well. Torres tonight has tripled. And Torres is hitting 287, and Andujar 281. Bird struggling, as we mentioned, to come off the DLs, hitting just 198, but he homered tonight.
That's the theme around baseball, isn't it? The last few years, really good young players coming to the big leagues.
There's so many of them, and we saw a bunch of them down in Houston. They're all over the league, especially Cleveland's got two young stars in Lindor and Ramirez. The Boston has young stars, Benintendi, Jackie Bradley Jr. and Mookie Betts.
After this long homestand that ends with the Yankees, we go down to Atlanta. Atlanta's got so many good young players.
They just got Ronald Acuna Jr. back on the active roster. And they have Ozzie Albies, their second baseman. They've got terrific players. And they have a very rich farm system.
You're seeing it more and more over the last few years. Teams getting their young players, getting them into the minor leagues, getting them up to AAA, and then polishing off their development at the major league level. And they've come up here. They're not intimidated. They're putting up big seasons.
Ozzie Albies is 21. Dansby Swanson, their shortstop, is 24. Johan Camargo, the third baseman, is 24. And Ronald Acuna is 20. Part of their team is young. Here is Smoke. He homered against Liriano last time up, and he drills this slider well foul into the seats. 2 outs here in the bottom of the fifth, and it's been feast or famine for Liriano. 4 pitches in the first inning, 24 pitches in the second inning, retired the side in the third inning, and then faced 9 Blue Jays in the fourth.
And 1 up, 1 down. Second guy, Morales, 2 up, 2 down, and now he's ahead of Smoke. Smoke looked like he hit a slider out the last time up.
Liriano has had trouble third time through the order this season. The hitters have posted a OPS of 1.056. That's the 8th worst in the league with a minimum of 50 plate appearances. Yeah, and he makes quick work of the Blue Jays in their half of the fifth. 3 up, 3 down with a couple of strikeouts. But Blue Jays have a 3-1 lead as we head to the 6th. baseball partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. A pretty swing off the bat of Justin Smoke at the scoring started. A 2-run home run. Randall Grichuk would add an infield RBI single, and the Blue Jays have a 3-1 lead. For the Tigers, it'll be 8-9-1. Iglesias, Machado, and Martin. Hot shot, nice play at third. So Larte, he may have twisted his ankle when he caught that hot shot, trying to walk it off. Indeed, I think he did catch his spikes.
He's played a great third base for the Blue Jays. They're going to need him with the news that Josh Donaldson's going to be out for at least 3 more weeks. I think you're right. He's going to go to the backhand on this hot shot. And there it is. You see how the knee buckled underneath his leg when he went down to catch it? Watch the left leg. John Gibbons is going to come out and talk to him. There's the twisting of that leg. But he finishes off the play, and now he's got to try and walk it off.
Yeah, he really kind of twisted that knee awkwardly. Made a heck of a play. He has really played well at third. He's made a couple of errors. This is his 46th start at third base. You can see him grabbing the back of his calf.
Just trying to shake it out. Watch when he goes to his backhand how the leg gets underneath him, and then when he gets up, it gets stuck underneath him. It looks like he's going to be okay. Goes down hard and twists it as he tries to get up. He has shown some soft hands when balls are hit right at him at the hot corner.
Darnell Sweeney, who has just been added to the roster, has played all over the diamond for the Buffalo Bisons. He's made 7 starts at second, 11 at third, 7 at shortstop, and he's played all of the outfield positions. He has, well, actually, he's played left and right. So he's a super utility guy and play all over the diamond. Popped up. Smoke going out into the outfield makes a nice running catch. 2 up, 2 down. Machado is retired. Now Leonis Martin will bat with 2 out and nobody on.
Last base hit he gave up, the last base runner he gave up was that hit by Iglesias when the runner was taken off. He just pushed it over into right field. He's retired 10 straight batters.
Martin has grounded out twice to Smoke unassisted. Has hit ground balls to the first baseman. Stroman is on his game when he doesn't record many outs in the outfield, and there has only been 1 out in the outfield. That was a fly ball to Pilar in the 5th off the bat of Jacoby Jones.
He's stayed inside against Martin. He's got him the first 2 times, grounding out the first. Just tries to throw that sinker down and away. He's stayed right in on his hands. He hasn't been able to extend the batter. He's rolled over on a couple pitches.
Tough pitch for a left-handed hitter. That breaking ball that's off the plate breaks and catches the outside corner. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You can't give up on it. The batter was telling the umpire, no, no, no. But it caught the outside corner.
Line to right. Grichuk is right there, and there's another out in the outfield. 3 up, 3 down. Marcus Stroman is on a roll.
2nd, the first 20,000 fans will receive a J-Happ bobblehead presented by Honda. Then watch your Blue Jays and Tigers continue their Canada Day weekend series. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Thank you very much, Hazel. And of course, there's been a lot of speculation that J-Happ is going to be moved, and Ross Atkins addressed that earlier on Tim and Sid tonight. They asked him, hey, have you been concerned that J-Happ's bobblehead day is on the 2nd?
It's a good way to ask it, though, wasn't it? Instead of coming out. Very good. Very clever.
Kevin Pollard takes one right down the middle. Well, if the pattern plays out, this will be a bad inning for Liriano. It's been good, bad, and good. There's a fly ball deep to left field. Get up, ball. Get up, ball. Get up, and it's going to die on the warning track. 1 out. Pollard just missed it. Let's check it with Jamie Campbell. Unfortunately, that's Nick Pivetta that started that game for Philadelphia. His charge was 7 earned runs on 7 hits in just an inning and 2/3. They jumped on him quickly. There's a team that's in the market for pitching help.
Philadelphia.
They have kind of fallen on hard times recently.
Yeah, but everything I keep reading about them is Manny Machado. Manny Machado to play third base.
We saw one of their scouts both in Anaheim and in Houston, and they were keeping an eye on the Blue Jays. Philadelphia at the start of play tonight, 2 games back of Atlanta. Washington 4 out. Base hit for Russell Martin. Past the diving third baseman Candelario.
At the Honda Checkered Flag event, the real victory lap is the drive home.
Fans checking out the Jays shop here at Rogers Center. Russell Martin's been on base all 3 times he's come to the plate tonight. Aledmus Diaz has struck out and walked. It's hard to walk Diaz. The walk just his 9th of the season. He has struck out 30 times, but he's a free swinger.
And loves the fastball.
There's a fastball. This should be 2. Iglesias quickly to second for 1. Machado to first, and that's a double play. Liriano breaks the pattern. He faces the minimum in the 6th. Arizona guests from one of TD's community partners. Welcome to the ballpark on a beautiful Friday night. And Marcus Stroman and the Blue Jays have a 3-1 lead.
He gave up a hit to Victor Martinez to lead off the second inning, wiped out on a double play. He gave up an infield hit and then another hit to Iglesias. Double play got him out of that inning. He hasn't allowed a base runner then since the third inning. 11-12 up, 12 down since that time. His breaking ball's been very good tonight.
He looks like the Marcus Stroman we have seen for the last several seasons, and we talked about it earlier. He had shoulder issues in spring training, tried to pitch through them during the regular season, and went on the deal, got healthy, and now he's back throwing the ball very well. Faber Candelario hits it high and deep to left field. This ball is carrying. This ball is gone. And opposite field, the home run for Candelario. His 12th home run of the season. And just like that, it's a one-run game.
And he will take over now the team lead for the Tigers in home run. How about that power stroke? Fastball down and away, and he's able to get underneath it and lift it out of here.
Here we go, bro. Let's go.
Sinker down and away from Stroman. Get underneath it. Look how far this ball goes opposite field. No chance for Hernandez, Teoscar, to get back there to rob him.
Here is Castellanos, and he goes after a high breaking ball. Candelario, he is a very good hitter from foul line to foul line. That is his 5th home run he has hit to left field. This ball is hit on the button right to center field. Quick timeout now for Marvel Studios, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Marcus Stroman had done such a great job of keeping the ball on the ground, and Pat mentioned he had retired 11 in a row before that home run. Victor Martinez had a ground ball base hit through the middle his first time up.
You know, we were talking earlier about him. He's closing in on 2,100 career hits. Victor Martinez. He was a catcher. He was a switch hitter. He would always hit for a high average and hit for some power. Knowing all of that, Buck, you've been in the big leagues a long time. Does it remind you of any catcher from back in, like, let's say the late 60s, early 70s for the Cardinals?
Ted Simmons.
Ted Simmons.
Yep.
That type of player, a catcher who could really hit. He was a switch hitter.
You know, Victor's been a very good hitter for a long time, as you mentioned, and Ted Simmons, I always felt like Ted Simmons should get some consideration for a Hall of Fame catcher.
Absolutely. Switch hitter. How many hits did he end up with? Like 2,800 hits or something like that? Something ridiculous.
Ted Simmons played 20 seasons, 21 years actually. He had 2,472 hits.
2,400. So almost 2,500 hits for a catcher.
285 hitter. That's a heck of a batting average for a catcher.
Sure. Victor reminds me of him whenever I watch him play this game.
1-2. Breaking ball bounced into dirt. Victor Martinez has hit 20 or more home runs 7 seasons. His high was 32 in 2014. With the Tigers, he drove in 103 runs. He was an all-star, a silver slugger, and finished second in the MVP voting to Mike Trout.
Yeah, he doesn't have the power like he did when he was younger. He's had a lot of knee problems and leg problems. Tough to get that swing going when your legs aren't underneath you. But he can pop one out every now and then.
He missed the entire 2012 season because of those knee issues. He had microfracture surgery on his knees, and it took him a long time to recapture the power, but he came back in 2013 at 34 years old, drove in 83 runs, and in 2014 at 35 had that MVP caliber season.
Amazing. Amazing hitter.
You know what else he did in that great season in 2014? He led the league in on-base percentage of .409.
Look at his at-bats. This is a typical Victor Martinez type of at-bat. Slow the game down. Make that pitcher come into you. This is going to be the 9th pitch of this at-bat.
Ground ball that's going to sneak through for another base hit.
This 4K broadcast is brought to you by the Samsung QLED TV. See nothing else.
Victor Martinez with his second hit of the ball game. Sun Wang Oh is throwing, and he has really thrown the ball well lately. With that hit, Martinez now has 2,099 career hits. Here is John Hicks, the first baseman. Hicks hit a wicked line drive right back to the mound, and it hit off of Stroman, but it bounced right to Devin Travis at second, and he was thrown out. It was a 1-4-3 ground out.
Could use another one of those here. Hicks got some power, so you got to be careful with him.
Stroman has thrown just 86 pitches. He's been extremely efficient. Pitching with 1 out in the 7th. Good breaking ball.
Yeah, keep it down there. You're not going to get hurt.
Making good pitches to Hicks in this at bat.
Last time out, he threw 81 pitches in those 5 innings against Los Angeles. A little bit more efficient tonight.
Off the end of the bat. He has it second. They'll go to second and get the force. That's all they will get. So Hicks is out on the fielder's choice. He's on base at first as Martinez is forced out at second.
Ball just wasn't hit hard enough to turn 2 on. Diaz had to wait back to get that big hop, that last big hop, and the only out they could get was over at first base. That's what you want to do. When you get an out, get one somewhere. Don't try and force anything.
So now with 2 outs and a man at first, McCann is the batter.
He's played a great shortstop. Steady shortstop for the Blue Jays, Diaz. He just took his time right there and got the out.
This is James McCann. Line drive to right. Here comes Gritchett. He makes the running catch. So Marcus Stroman, 7 strong innings in the book. He has a 3-2 lead. Had a great start to this game. He threw 4 pitches in the first inning and then wobbled a bit in the second as he did in the fourth, but overall, pretty good outing. 7 hits that led to 3 earned runs over 6 innings, and like always, his walks and strikeouts are even at 4 each.
Yeah, he'll give you some innings. That's the first time he's thrown 6 innings since May the 20th off the DL, so he has 6 innings in the books. So Buck Farmer will come in 39th time this season. That's the 6th most in the American League for Farmer. He's 3-3 with a .486 earned run average. He's been pitching better of late. He hasn't allowed a run over his last 8 appearances. Big fastball, little sinker, and he's also showing a cutter.
For Farmer, this will be his 3rd appearance pitching here at Rogers Center. The previous 2 came as a starter. He made 2 starts against the Blue Jays and got roughed up. 9 innings in total in those 2 starts, 13 hits and 6 earned runs.
He looks more like a reliever. Hard sinking fastball, slider.
Little pop up behind second base. That is Machado, the second baseman. He makes the catch. 1 out.
Check out the Beauty Tone Paint event on now through July 3rd, only at Home Hardware. Here's how.
Get your fresh popcorn, and it is fresh and tasty here at Rogers Center. But Farmer gets the first batter he faces here in the 7th. Farmer throws fastball, changeup, and an occasional slider, kind of an unusual mix. And there's the occasional slider.
80 miles an hour. I mean, he just looks like a reliever, doesn't he? Thick body, big strong arms. Come out there and just fill that strike zone up with pitches with good movement. Former 5th round draft pick from Georgia Tech.
Farmer is now 27 years old. Looked like a pretty good pitch. That's the crew chief down at first base, Jerry Davis. Randall Grichuk had an infield RBI base hit in the 4th. He's 1 for 3.
Boy, after that last pitch was not called a strike, that high strike, if I'm Randall Grichuk and the Blue Jays, I'm setting my sights down in the strike zone. If they're not going to call that one, look for everything from the belt on down.
Farmer made 11 starts for the Tigers. All the appearances he had a year ago in Detroit were as a starter. He had a 5-5 record with an inflated earned run average. There's that same pitch that was called a ball earlier in the at-bat. Farmer's ERA last year 6.75. He came into this ball game with a 4.86 earned run average. Yeah, pitching entirely out of relief.
Yeah, and much better now in short doses. Last 8 appearances, he hasn't given up a run.
Line drive base hit for Grichuk. He squares up another one. Another 2-hit night for Randall.
Boy, what a swing by Randall Grichuk. He's been on base now twice. He is 2 for 4. The Super Slow-Mo is brought to you by the Samsung S9 and S9 Plus. The camera reimagined. Available now. That's how you attack that high fastball. Look how he gets on top of it and barrels it up to center field.
So now with Grichuk at first, Teoscar Hernandez. Teoscar had a base hit his first time up. He's 1 for 3. Pretty good fastball inside for ball 1. Looks like the home plate umpire, Mark Carlson. I don't know what they were checking on. Joe Vavra, the bench coach, and now Rick Anderson's coming out. Pitching coach, that was a curious couple of videos there. We saw Joe Vavra go to the phone.
What could they have been looking for?
I don't know, but Rick Anderson had something on his mind he wanted to talk to Farmer about because he was at the top step. Rick Anderson, as we mentioned, a longtime pitching coach with the Minnesota Twins. He had a very specific message he delivered to Buck Farmer. He was the bullpen coach before taking over the role as the pitching coach, so he knows these relievers very well. He's been with them all spring. A ball and no strikes. Another high fastball.
He's got a good arm, and it looks like he's got some movement on those pitches too. He's listed at 6'4", 232 pounds. He gets those legs into that fastball.
We mentioned Anderson was with the Twins. He was there 13 seasons as their pitching coach. And they always issued near the top of the league fewest walks. He encouraged a lot of strikes.
As a manager, you have to have confidence in your pitching coach. That's the guy you're going to work very closely with. Starters and the relievers, when to take him out, when to put him in.
The Gardner is looking at his matchup sheet and offering some suggestions to Rick Anderson. And like we said, they worked together a long time. They can probably finish each other's sentence.
Well, you've got all the switch hitters coming up, so I think they're making decisions on what they want to do after this at bat. I mean, he's all over that sheet with all the relievers' names on it.
There goes a runner. The ball is fouled off by Hernandez. You know, the Blue Jays have been searching for a leadoff hitter. And I know it's a very short sample, but Randall Grichuk, he has some of the attributes you like. Yeah, I know he doesn't walk a lot, and yeah, his on-base percentage isn't where you want it, but he can run the bases. He's got sting in his bat. He might be the prototypical type of modern-day leadoff hitter. There he goes again. Pitch is inside for ball 4.
He can run a little bit too. 2 for 2 in stolen bases, and he's a heads-up type of base runner. Good base runner.
In this era, a lot of the leadoff hitters are guys that hit the ball out of the ballpark. You don't have those guys that are guys that get on base and steal bases much anymore, as the stolen base has been de-emphasized, but he might be an interesting leadoff man. So Yannivis Solarte will turn around and bat left-handed for the first time. Solarte is 1 for 3. Solarte hitting for a higher average from this side of the plate, 260 versus 236. First pitch is outside. This is the first time Solarte has faced Buck Farmer, and you can see the defense on the infield pretty much straight away. Outside again.
He leads the team in RBI and home runs. He plays a game in batting practice about hitting the ball the other way when he needs to. They don't want him to get out there and just start yanking everything to right field. They want him to become a complete hitter using the whole field. So he'll have a game during batting practice on how many balls he gets in the air and how many balls he hits the other way. Now's a chance right here with a couple of runners on base. Think extra bases.
That's a good take on a borderline Pitch upstairs, Luis Coleman. Luis Coleman is loosening up for the Tigers. You can see Gardner was contemplating their next move, and they've decided on Coleman. Remember, the Tigers have lost 9 in a row. They have not lost 10 straight since 2003. Green light swinging is Solarte, and he fouls it back.
He's had a few of those this year. 3-0 home runs. Let him swing, trying to bust the game open.
Got another home run cut. And Gardner is studying the matchup sheets, trying to find a formula for success here. It's been a real struggle for the Tigers lately. Fly ball into center. Martin is there, and Solarte is retired. 2 away now. You know, we mentioned the Tigers through their 9-game losing streak hit just .213 as a team. Well, they're pitching. They've given up a .304 opponent's batting average as well during those 9 losses. And they've also surrendered now 18 home runs in the last 10 games.
They broke a streak of the Oakland A's, though, in yesterday's game. Oakland didn't hit a home run. That's the first time in 27 games that Oakland didn't hit a home run on the road.
First pitch off the plate outside. Morales had a base hit back in the 4th. The Blue Jays scored 3 runs on 5 hits in that inning. And it could have been a bigger inning had not Solarte been thrown out at third base by Nick Castellanos, the right fielder.
Yeah, that was the one out for the longest time. 6 straight batters reached base that inning for the Blue Jays. Only 3 of them could score. That's the only inning that they've scored in tonight.
That has been a pattern we've seen all too often this year for the Blue Jays, where they will score a couple of runs, and even in Wednesday's game, they score 5 in the first.
5.
And could have just 1 more. They added 1 more run. One pitch. Upstairs, snap throw to first. Boy, that was close. Hernandez getting back just ahead of the tag of Hicks, and McKinn made a good snap throw to first.
Yeah, they're already in the shift, so watch the first baseman. As the pitch is on its way, he's going to come in. That's a called play. The high tag, though, it looked like he got him on his elbow. Yeah, and he got his hand in.
Strike 2. It's now 2 balls and 2 strikes to Kendrys Morales. Buck Farmer in relief of Francisco Liriano. Morales had a good road trip. He had 294 on the road trip with a pair of home runs. We got a good pitch to hit there.
He's on Farmer right now. That was another changeup that floated over the middle of the plate. The big home run in Los Angeles to help the Blue Jays to a win. An extra inning pinch hit home run. He saw that last changeup out of his hand easy. Now they might run away from it.
Way up and out over the plate. It's 3-2 now. So the base runners with 2 outs will be moving on the pitch. Grichuk from second, Hernandez from first. Smoke is on deck. Justin hit a 2-run home run in the 4th. He's 1 for 3. Blue Jays have 2 of their faster base runners on base. A ball in the gap should score 2. Fouled straight back.
Wow.
Another good cut.
He saw that one too. Fastball, changeup, occasional breaking ball. And Kendricks has seen his changeup, his best changeup. He was on it. Saw his best fastball. He was on it.
Another 3-2 pitch. Mark Farmer strikes him out. Took him 29 pitches, and the Blue Jays strand a pair of base runners who will go to the 8th. Blue Jays have a 3-2 lead. Send 1-0 coming in. His second start since coming off the disabled list improved upon his first start. He pitches 7 strong innings, charged with 2 earned runs on 5 hits. Overall, he gave up 3 runs. He pitched 7 innings on 90 pitches. He was very efficient. Big number for me. He didn't walk back.
Yeah, he didn't. He had 1 walk in his last start in those 5 innings. Up to 7 today. No walks, 4 strikeouts. He will give way to someone 37 games this year for and he's on a nice little roll right now. He pitched against Houston in his last outing on the 25th, an inning. He gave up just a scratch hit in that game. Been much better lately. His fastball's had a little bit more of an uptick to it. His slider's been a little bit better too. He's put it in a good spot.
There's a fastball, but it's upstairs to Jacoby Jones. Jones had an infield single and scored a run in the 3rd. Pop straight back. There's that fastball you were talking about. Had a little extra giddy up on it.
Yeah, a couple of extra ticks to it, and that one was up in the strike zone. And that one was off. He's been pitching much better, and the numbers bear it out over his last 10 outings. He's only given up 1 run. That was the home run to Valbuena in the 8th inning in Los Angeles.
Here he gets a strikeout. First batter he faces in the 8th inning. Is from South Korea. And it's interesting when he can get this breaking ball down and away. You can see that tight spin, and that's the red dot you talk about when you're a hitter, watching for that dot on that slider.
Much better breaking ball. That's a strikeout now in at least one in his last 5 outings. In Los Angeles, he had 3 strikeouts in the one game, 3 strikeouts in the next game. He gave up the home run to Valbuena and ended up winning that game. But the strikeouts are just piling up for him now.
Faced the Tigers in the series in June and was charged with the loss. There's a fastball that ran inside and really tied up Iglesias. In that game, it was a 4-4 game going into the 8th, and O came into the game and he had kind of a tough outing. John Hicks had a extended at bat. Remember the long at bat, and then Hicks hit a little blooper into center field to drive in 2 runs. And Jacoby Jones hit a sacrifice fly for the 3rd run.
He's an interesting guy. You know, this time of the year, veteran types of pitchers who've pitched in the postseason or pitched on good teams, who pitch in big outings. These are the types of players that contending teams like to fortify their bullpens with.
Yeah, and there's a lot of teams that have their eyes on the Blue Jays, and we know Pierce was traded today. He's already in the lineup for the Red Sox tonight. Pierce was traded yesterday, excuse me. Oh, with another good fastball. His fastball has gotten better as the season has gone on. But when you look around baseball, and the first team that comes to mind for me in need of a reliever, the Cleveland Indians. And they had Brian Shaw leave as a free agent.
They haven't been able to fill his spots in that bullpen.
I mean, obviously they have a comfortable lead in the Central. They have an 8-game lead over Minnesota. But they have aspirations of winning the World Series. And they're not going to win the World Series with the bullpen they have as it sits right now.
Not really sure when Andrew Miller's going to come back for him also.
Quite a battle putting up by Jose Iglesias.
He's one of the
tough pitches.
He's one of the hardest to fan in all of baseball. His chase rate is low. He doesn't chase. His ability to put the bat on the ball is very high, and they get him.
Here they strike him out. Another strikeout for O.
Super Slow-Mo Cam. Brought to you by Samsung Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus. The camera reimagined. Available now.
They have a pinch hitter, Nico Goodrum. Has been a nice addition to this Tigers ball club. Goodrum pinch hitting for the second baseman, Dixon Machado. Goodrum is 0 for 3 as a pinch hitter. He has 8 home runs for the season. Check that. He's got 7 home runs, 1 as a right-handed hitter, 6 as a lefty.
He's become their, quote, super utility type of player, and he's thinking extra bases.
He's a switch hitter. We also have Victor Reyes on the bench, another switch hitter, and the 3rd catcher, Grayson Griner. Oh, ahead, 1-2. How about that inning of work? 3 up, 3 down with 3 strikeouts for O. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. The Blue Jays lead it. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Cliff Floyd in the Samsung broadcast studio. flag event. Check out their all-star lineup.
Blue Jays have been searching for a big base hit. They needed a big one, and it came off the bat of Justin Smoak. Slider down and in. This is his 10th home run of the season, 3rd against a left-handed pitcher. Tonight, Justin Smoak has the big hit. It's also our drive of the game. It's the difference of this game right now.
Smoak with 10 home runs now will lead the inning off against a new pitcher, Lewis Coleman, making his 22nd appearance of the season.
Yeah, Coleman has been with Kansas City. That's where I remember him coming out of the bullpen. He's got the fastball, the changeup, the slider. He throws sidearm, so he'll get his share of ground ball outs. 21 games, so he's got a winning record for this team.
Nico Goodrum stays in the ball game. He's playing second base for Dixon Machado. He's in shallow right field in the shift. Coleman has faced Smoak twice. Justin is 0 for 2 against the Tigers righty. Justin is 1 for 3 with that home run. He struck out in the 5th against Liriano. Now that's a pretty good pitch, and Coleman didn't get the call. It's a ball on the strike.
Little crossfire fastball on the inside part of the plate against Smoak. As you see the Tigers in their shift, this is where you want to hit it over the shift. And he was trying.
Look at all of those pitches right on the edge of the strike zone.
You know you're going to get a fastball. Coleman has a tendency of giving up home runs. And Smokey was trying to have a 2-homer night.
Coleman said, "Don't swing so hard at me." Pushed him off the plate with that inside pitch. Clippard listening up for the Blue Jays. Ryan Tepera gave up a walk-off home run on Wednesday to Alex Bregman. So tonight, Clippard will get the opportunity to close. Fouled back.
You know, talk about being a player that has bounced around over the last couple of years. Since the beginning of 2016, Lewis Coleman has been with the Royals, the Dodgers, the Reds, the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks released him, and now the Tigers.
Well, that's a tough pitch. Coleman didn't get the call. But can the catcher wanted it? Smoak will draw another walk. That's his 49th walk of this season.
And a good start in the 8th. Need some add-on runs.
Kevin Pillar, he's 1 for 2. He drew a walk in the 2nd. Pillar showing bunt, pulls the bat back. Don't see that very often from the Blue Jays.
Yeah, I don't know if he did that on his own or if that was a play where he got the sacrifice. He took a look at Smoak right there after he got the signs from the third base coach, Luis Rivera. And it's a hit and run.
On the move, it's a hit and run.
You can tell something was up after he got the sign and he looked over at Smoak, the runner over at first base. Almost like he was saying, "Did you get that? Because I'm swinging." Go.
Yeah, and that's obviously something you don't want to do. They tried this combination down in Houston on Tuesday, and Smoak was thrown out.
I think the element of surprise is over right now.
I think this is a play they'll save for another time.
Yeah, go ahead and swing away now.
Ball on a strike to Pilar. He shows bunt. He was bunting that time. Pitch was outside. Luis Rivera, he relays the signs from the manager to the batter and the base runners.
And that last sign was his best sign. See the ball out in front? Let it go. Go ahead and swing away.
The Blue Jays have exactly one sacrifice bunt this year. The Mariners lead the American League with 22 sacrifice bunts. Oakland and the Red Sox, they both have 2 sacrifice bunts. It's not something you see very often in the American League. Hammered, but well foul. Of course, in the National League, when you have the pitcher hitting, everybody uses the sacrifice bunt in those situations. There have been 285 sacrifice bunts in the National League, 122 in the American League.
We love the DH. Let them swing away.
Pilar is called out on strikes. Bowman finds that outside corner with the fastball.
He kept trying to throw that crossfire fastball to Justin Smoak, a left-handed batter on the inside corner. He missed. So he does it to Kevin Pilar, a right-handed batter. That's a four-seam crossfire fastball. Tough to give up on that one as it scrapes the outside corner.
Well, the Blue Jays, they could use a little insurance. They have a one-run lead, but the top of the Tigers' order is scheduled to hit in the ninth. Martin, Candelario, and Castellanos. Candelario homered in the seventh inning to make it a 3-2 game. Russell Martin's had a perfect night at the plate. He has walked twice and singled.
He singled on a 2-0 pitch that last time up. That's where we are right now, 2-0.
Russell scored the third run in that 3-run fourth inning. Breaking ball for strike two. It's 2-2 now to Martin. Blue Jays have a 3-2 lead. Blue Jays have won 8 of their last 9 home games. The only loss they'd suffered in that stretch, they lost the opener in the 2-game Atlanta series to the Braves. Well, Martin had a good cut at that high fastball.
Yeah, he's not shy on those high fastballs. He recognizes that early. He was trying to get 2 RBIs with 1 swing.
Ground ball. Iglesias to second, quickly back to first. What a double play started by the fine shortstop Jose Iglesias. He threw running away from the bag, and they dub up Russell Martin to end the 8th. They'll go to the 9th. Tyler Clippard coming on in this one-run game. He'll face the top of the order.
On Sportsnet. Presented by Honda. The Honda Checkered Flag event is back. Hurry in to grab the Civic that matches your game.
Quick turnaround tomorrow. These two teams will play game 2 of this 4-game series. It all starts at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's the pregame show hosted by Jamie Campbell. That's 9:30 a.m. Pacific Time on Sportsnet. How about the pitching matchup? Sam Gaviglio against Matt Boyd, a couple of college teammates. They played at Oregon State together.
We head to the 9th inning, and it's Tyler Clippard for the 41st time. Clippard is 4-2 with a very good earned run average of .329. Last pitched in that series down in Houston. His only blemish, I guess you would say, was a Marwin Gonzalez in the 8th inning, 2 outs, nobody on in that game. Other than that, he's been fantastic for the Blue Jays lately. That's the first run that he had been scored upon in 9 contests. So he will get the duties to close tonight, and he's had 2 saves in his career versus the Tigers.
This is his 3rd appearance this season against Detroit. He's got the top of the order to deal with, and he delivers a first pitch strike to Leonys Martin. Martin is 0 for 3. Tigers have but 5 hits. Martin appears to have something in his eye. Clippard has 4 saves this season in 8 opportunities. Breaking ball through the right side. Travis knocks it down, but that'll be a base hit. Now for a preview of what's coming up next on Sportsnet Central. Here's Faisal and Ken. Thank you, fellas. All right after this ball game, so stay tuned for that. So the Tigers get the leadoff man on, and this is Jeimer Candelario, who homered his last time up. That'll be an infield hit for Martin.
Yeah, now you got to pitch against their 2 best power hitters, representing the go-ahead run with changeup. Tyler will use that changeup more often versus lefties than he does against righties, and it's a nice pitch. He'll throw it at any time in the count. Combine that with a splitter, he'll throw that splitter against the lefties too.
Candelario is 1 for 3. Boy, he really sold that. Had a very good delivery when he threw that last splitter.
I think all you have to do is say, hey, Candelario is a good fastball hitter. He had a fastball from Marcus Stroman out of the ballpark to left field. So you got to take some of the sting out of that bat. Throw him that changeup, and he's ahead 0-2.
Clippard is now tied for second in appearances. Only Edwin Diaz of the Mariners has appeared in more games than Tyler Clippard. 1-2 to Candelario. Strikes him out. Martin bluffed a break towards second. Aledmus Diaz had taken a path to cover second. There's a big hole at short. This is a great splitter.
Yeah, and it's in a good spot too, going down and away. It comes out of his hand and he reads that it's going to be a strike, and then it just drops off the table. He'll throw that almost 15% of the time against left-handed batters, and that was a good one in a good spot.
So here is Nick Castellanos. Castellanos is 1 for 3 against Clippard, but that one hit is a home run. He's been given the collar so far. He is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Castellanos came into this game 5 for 12 against the Blue Jays, and we mentioned he's 0 for 3 tonight.
Outfielders are a little bit deep now. This represents the go-ahead run, the tying run over at first base. Nothing over your heads. So they're playing a little bit deeper with Castellanos.
Off the plate outside. If you had to make a good pitch on Castellanos, where would you go?
He handles everything. He's hitting over 300. And Tyler doesn't have the type of breaking ball Marcus Stroman has. Stroman struck him out his first time up, a good hard slider off the plate. He can handle the ball inside. I think I might go up and away just to try and stay away from his power.
Another off-speed pitch, and Castellanos was way out in front.
I saw him hit a home run against Oakland the other day he turned around a fastball that was right in on his hands, and he's able to stay inside of it and hit it to right center field for a home run. That's where his power is, the other way.
That was a 99-mile-an-hour fastball from Trevino. Great reliever, throwing hard.
In Oakland, and turned it around inside out.
1-2 now, 1 out. Blue Jays have a 3-2 lead. Strikes him out. Oh, what a big strikeout for Clippard. Back-to-back strikeouts after the infield base hit.
Another backup splitter out of his hand. You can see that rotation. It's spinning up there sideways. Backing up on Castellanos. He sees it, but he can't come up with it.
So now the Tigers down to their final out. Victor Martinez, the DH, is 2 for 3.
Evan Travis backing up at second base. Anything on the ground to the right side has to be an out.
Martinez with 2 hits tonight. He now has 2,099 career hits. He has not had a hit in his only at bat against Tyler Clippard. They have flip-flopped the defense after that first pitch.
Yeah, Solarte and Diaz. Diaz now on the left side of the infield. You know, because he doesn't run like he used to, I think the whole right side of the infield, that's Solarte, that's Travis, can take a couple of steps back. Give yourself a chance to catch the ball. You're still going to have time to get him over at first base.
Clippard thought that last pitch had caught the outside corner, but the home plate umpire didn't agree with that. Mark Carlson has got the plate tonight. It looked like a straight changeup. Clippard's been doing this a long time. Got 65 career saves, 32 in his best season. Martinez thought it was upstairs.
Now we're even. 2-2. Look at both of these veterans walk away and think. Clippard and Martinez. Gardy didn't like that last call. The difference between 3-1 and 2-2.
24,068 here in attendance, the first of 4 against the Tigers. Blue Jays trying to win their 9th home game out of their last 10. In the dirt. What a job by Martin. He'll snap the throw to first. Martin back safely.
Yeah, he knows how important that run is over there at first base, so he's going to give up some of his body to keep that ball in front of him. It looked like it might have got him in the bicep or in the arm area, but he was trying to just block that ball. Like a wall where you throw the ball against and have it bounce back out in front of you. He blocks that to keep that run at first base.
So now this is a big pitch, obviously, in the ball game. 3-2, 2 outs. Martin at first base has good speed. So Smoke's going to stay close. He represents the tying run. There goes the runner. Popped him up. So we'll do it all over again. Martin back to first, and Victor Martinez will have another 3-2 pitch.
Threw him a fastball that time. His only fastball he's thrown him in this at bat.
Fly ball, this should do it. Diaz going out. The shortstop is there, and that's the ball game. Tyler Clippard, a couple of strikeouts and a pop out. They strand the base runner who had the leadoff base hit. The Blue Jays win the first of 4 against Detroit.
They score in 1 inning tonight. The big hit, the Justin Smoke home run, but the pitching makes it stand up. Marcus Stroman, 7 very good innings. Sanjuan an inning, struck out all 3 batters he faced, and Tyler Clippard will pick up his 3rd save of his career against the Detroit Tigers.
The Tigers have lost 10 straight ball games. First time they've done that since 2003. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon, folks. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Here's Sportsnet Central with Basil and Ken.